The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We are now going to get started on today's webinar, How to Protect Your Corporate Data in SaaS-based Applications. Your presenter for today is William Coolhu, who is Asigra's Senior Product Marketing Manager here at Asigra. My name is Tricia Santaguida, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and will be made available within 24 hours on our interface. Also, if you have any questions during today's webinar, we will be having a full Q&A at the end of the session. So without further delay, let's get started. William.
Thank you, Tricia, and thank you to all of you who have joined this webinar today. This will be a very interesting topic because, as you probably know, SaaS-based sources for corporate data is becoming an increasingly popular trend, and it's very important to make sure that you're protecting that critical corporate data even when it's in the SaaS cloud. So the agenda I'd like to cover today is first talk to you about why your data in the SaaS cloud is at risk of loss. Then I want to talk about how you can protect your data in SaaS clouds with Asigra Cloud Backup. And finally, I want to talk to you about how Asigra Cloud Backup does more than just protect SaaS data, but can also protect all of your enterprise data wherever it may be. So to begin with, I'd like to take a quick poll. So which SaaS-based application is your organization currently using or planning to use within the next 12 months? Tricia?
Excellent. Thank you. So you have a couple of minutes, actually a few moments to fill out your answer with your three choices of the Microsoft Office 365, Google Apps, Salesforce, Other, or Not Quite Yet. So if you haven't yet submitted your answer, please do so. Thank you very much, and I'm going to close that session. And I'm going to show you the results, actually. So it looks like, William, we have 100% of our users on today's call that use Microsoft Office 365.
Okay, super. Well, 100% is quite awesome. So you guys are not alone in your adoption of SaaS. I guess that's the important thing I want to leave you with on this slide. And the reality is that enterprises everywhere are embracing SaaS-based applications. So here's a few quotes. Office 365, it's Microsoft's fastest growing commercial product ever, and they've seen the number of commercial seats double year over year through end of 2014. As well, just looking at large enterprises using SaaS email, about 17.6% of companies with more than 1,000 employees use SaaS-based email, and that is split almost evenly between Google and Microsoft. And finally, for those of you that are using Salesforce.com, also a very important SaaS provider, they pretty well dominate the CRM market. And it's not just the ones that I mentioned on the previous slide. This is a general trend towards SaaS-based applications. And so here's a quote from Gartner that they expect cloud office system adoption will grow from about 10% of the market today to 90% by 2027, just 12 years from now. So that's pretty massive, spectacular growth. Now, there's lots of great reasons for moving to SaaS-based applications. That said, it's important to make sure you're protecting your data even when it's in the SaaS cloud. Why is that? Well, like any data source, data in the SaaS cloud can get lost, destroyed, or corrupted. And that's bad news for you because your organization is responsible for your data regardless of where it's hosted. So if you're under HIPAA, high-tech, SOX, or some of those other industry regulations, regarding data retention, well, they expect you to comply, and saying, oh, sorry, I lost my data because it was in the SaaS cloud, just isn't going to cut it. Similarly, even if you aren't explicitly covered by some kind of industry regulation to retain and protect your data, it still may make good business sense in a lot of reasons. So, for example, you may have an employee who leaves the company and then 6 months later decides to sue for whatever reason. And you need to be able to pull that employee's former email records to protect yourself. Well, you can only do that if you have been making sure you have a plan in place to protect that data from those ex-employees. So this is what data backups are all about, and this is why they're so important. And Microsoft, Google, and all the other SaaS vendors do take backups, but what you got to understand is those backups are for their benefit, not yours. So you can't access your SaaS vendor's backups, okay? Those backups are only kept around for as long as the SaaS vendor needs them. And I'll give you a bunch of examples, but here, for example, Microsoft OneDrive, they take backups, but they only keep those for 14 days. So if you lost your data 3 weeks ago, 21 days ago, and you desperately need it back, Microsoft can't get it back for you even if they want to, just because they don't keep it around anymore. So this is why backing up your SaaS data outside your SaaS vendor's cloud to your secure location is so important, because it ensures you have your data and can meet those compliance, legal, and other obligations regardless of what happens to the source SaaS vendor. So let's look at some examples here. Office 365 Outlook Mail. So, very commonly used and adopted SaaS application, and the way it works is you have email and other things in your inbox. You delete it, and if you see here this blue, this blue diagram with all the rectangles kind of explains the process. So you delete something from your inbox, it goes to the deleted items folder. From there, garbage collector kicks in, or you manually delete it. It moves to the recoverable items folder. From there, it kind of moves down until it's ultimately purged. So items by default, and this is with all editions of Office 365, by default, deleted items only exist in the recoverable items folder for 14 days. You can set it up to 30 days, but after that, it's gone forever. There's nothing you can do to recover it. As well, deleted mailboxes. So, employee leaves the company, delete the mailbox. After 30 days, it's gone. Right? And there's no data backup and recovery protection by default inherently built into Office 365. Now, all this said, Office 365 does have some, not bad data retention options in place. And in particular, they have something called in-place or litigation hold features, which enables you to, at a very granular level, specify how long you want to retain data. So you may say, for a particular employee, I want to retain their data for 7 years, and you can specify those policies. So that's good, but one big problem is that this option is only available on the most expensive Microsoft Office 365 Exchange plans, which, as shown here, cost twice as much as the next expensive plan. So very expensive protection. As well, the protection is off by default. So even if you do buy this top-of-the-line Office 365 edition, right, you have to actively activate, configure, and manage these in-place and litigation hold features. And that requires special training and skills, and it just adds to your overall cost. And with that, even you do that, right, held data can still be deleted by authorized users, maybe by accident. They inadvertently disable the hold or whatever. All the data will be deleted. So now let's talk about the other main Office 365 features, SharePoint, OneDrive. That protection is also inadequate. So the way that works is you delete a folder or something, SharePoint or OneDrive, it'll get moved to a recycle bin, first to the user recycle bin, then it gets auto-moved to the site collection recycle bin. In total, deleted items can only live in both recycle bins for a cumulative total of 90 days. After that, the item is gone forever. Now, Microsoft does offer a full site recovery because they take backups every 12 hours, and they hold those backups for 14 days. So if you contact Microsoft support within 14 days and say, I desperately need this file back that was deleted, they can restore it. It takes 2 days, and it overwrites all data currently hosted at the site URL. So if you've updated files since the deleted item, or there's a lot of files you deleted and you don't want back, you just want this one file back, tough beans, you're still going to get everything, right? So it's not an ideal recovery by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, but it gets worse, right? So what else could go wrong? If you cancel your Office 365 subscription for any reason at all, they will automatically delete all data within 90 days. Also, stuff happens, right? So this is software after all that Office 365 is based on, and there are bugs, and stuff happens. So, again, if there's a bug that accidentally corrupts your data, right, how quickly will Microsoft be able to get around to fixing that, if they can fix it at all, even? And then, worst case scenario, you have to understand that Microsoft has very carefully limited their liability. In particular, their terms of service say that they will pay out a maximum of $5,000 US, or what you paid during the last 12 months on subscription fees, assuming you can prove it was their fault. So that would not be an easy thing to do. So, the bottom line here is that, there's certainly a number of scenarios where your data in Office 365 could get lost. Now, thus far I've been talking about Office 365, but to be fair, it's not just them, right? With Google Apps, all deleted records can be recovered for up to 25 days after the trash is emptied. After that, it's gone forever. And when you do recover, it's an all or nothing restore. So again, even if you just want only one file, you're forced to get everything back, and potentially overwriting stuff that you've updated more recently. Salesforce.com, deleted records go to the recycle bin and are then purged after 15 days. So if after 15 days, but before 90 days, you realize that you've accidentally deleted something or something's been corrupted, Salesforce.com support can recover your data for you, but per their terms of service, it's $10,000 US per recovery, and that takes 15 business days. And it's also an all or nothing restore. And, if you're past that 90-day window, then sorry, Charlie, your data's gone. So now let me talk about how protecting your SaaS data with Asigra Cloud Backup works and can protect your data. So first of all, what is Asigra Cloud Backup? Well, as its name suggests, it is a cloud-based data protection platform that reaches out through the cloud and protects corporate data sources. In particular, as this slide is showing, it protects Office 365, Salesforce, Google, so those main SaaS data sources, as well as PaaS infrastructure as a service data sources like Windows, Azure, Amazon, and more. And so the Asigra Cloud Backup reaches out to those data sources and backs up the data to a secure data center. It's either your data center, it could be your service provider's data center, and that way, regardless of what happens, you cancel your subscription, what have you, you have a copy of your data. So if we get into some specifics about what's actually protected, so you can see it's very comprehensive protection. So with Microsoft Exchange, it's mailboxes, it's email, calendars, contacts, tasks. With SharePoint Online, it's the entire site, calendars, contacts, discussion lists, document libraries, list content. With Microsoft OneDrive, it's all files. With Google Apps, it's contacts, calendars, drive, email, sites. With Salesforce.com, it's schema and objects. And a key thing to point out about this protection is that when it comes, if you need to recover, you can recover just specific items. So you can recover individual emails, individual tasks, etc. It's not an all or nothing restore. Furthermore, when deciding what you want to back up, you can decide, oh, I only want to back up, tasks, for example, or I only want to back this or that. So you can, at a very granular level, specify what you want to protect as well as how frequently you want to protect. So you may decide that your OneDrive, you want to be backing that up daily, but with your mailbox, it's fine to back that up weekly. The flexibility is there. The choice is up to you. So how does this address the problems that I raised earlier when speaking about Office 365, Google Apps, and Salesforce? Well, for one thing, this Asigra Cloud Backup protects all editions and levels of Office 365, Google Apps, and Salesforce. So there's no need to pay for the most expensive edition to get the data protection you want, right? Regardless of what edition you have, Asigra Cloud Backup will protect it uniformly. There's also no need to configure anything in the SaaS application. So you don't need to get special Office 365 training around their specific data protection capabilities, right? So you avoid that cost and complexity. A follow-on to that is your SaaS admins can't inadvertently or purposely, for that matter, delete your data, even if they want to, because it's being protected in a completely separate environment. You still have your data, even if you cancel your SaaS subscription or your subscription lapses, right? Very important. You can easily fine-tune to the level of protection that you need, and I talked to you about that in the previous slide. And you can recover back to the original SaaS cloud or to an alternate location, right? So, for example, you can choose to recover back to your laptop, and so you can do a search on the information there. And all data is deduped, compressed, and encrypted for maximum security and storage savings. So from a security perspective, that means that your data, when it's backed up, right, it's completely useless to unauthorized individuals that may happen to get their hands on it, and giving you complete protection. The Asigra Cloud Backup is also very easy to administer with respect to cloud data sources. So in particular, you can manage all your SaaS backup and recovery protection from an easy-to-use web-based dashboard. And if you're an enterprise that has a large user base of SaaS users, you can easily configure a backup schedules and policies for all your users at once using our web-based tool, right? So there's no need to establish these backup policies on a user-by-user basis. Instead, you can just do it with one fell swoop. And under the covers, the Asigra Cloud Backup will make sure that that's applied to all your users. So now let me talk about how Asigra Cloud Backup does so much more than just protecting SaaS data sources. So, the nice thing about Asigra Cloud Backup is it's a comprehensive data protection platform. That means it protects all enterprise data sources. So that, we've already talked about PaaS and IaaS, SaaS, obviously, but this also includes virtual machines, physical servers, Docker containers, databases, web servers, mobile endpoints like laptops and smartphones, what have you. And it includes capabilities such as our LAN storage discovery tool, which you can use to help you identify data sources that are currently not protected or maybe underprotected, or even data that you don't use at all, which could be deleted or archived, saving you storage. With the Asigra Cloud Backup, there's no need to rip and replace your existing data protection solutions. So instead, you can use Asigra Cloud Backup to complement So for example, right, you may decide to start with only want to protect your SaaS sources with Office 365, but then if down the road, right, if you decide you want to start switching over some of your other data sources to Asigra Cloud Backup Protection, easy to do using the same interface that showed on the previous slide that you would use to protect your SaaS-based sources. Asigra Cloud Backup is platform independent in that it protects virtually all platforms. So anything running on Windows, Linux, Unix, iOS, Android, even things like I series can be protected. And as I said, it's administered from the same interface. So, this is kind of recapping what I just said. Asigra Cloud Backup is a comprehensive data protection platform for all of your enterprise data sources. And it's important to note that comprehensive does not mean one size fits all. So you can pick and choose at a very fine granular level the level of protection you want on a data source by data source basis. So for example, you may have some virtual machines that you're just using for your test environments. You really don't care about them too much. Maybe you just want to back them up once. You can easily do that with Asigra Cloud Backup. You may have other virtual machines that are running your mission-critical databases and web servers, and you want to back those up nightly, if not more frequently, or even do a virtual machine replication. So you have a warm DR VM to take over the workload if there's an outage. You can easily configure that using the same interface, the same tool. So one set of skills, one tool to use, and with all that you can get the level of protection your business needs on a data source by data source basis. So, the advantages, comprehensive and flexible. I just talked about that. Right? Cloud-based. So Asigra Cloud Backup, because it's been architected from day one to be a cloud-based data protection platform, you can deploy it in the public, private, or hybrid cloud architectures. We have a worldwide network of partners that we work with, and that would help you and provide for you the protection and the infrastructure to protect all your data sources. The Asigra Cloud Backup is agentless, so unlike some other products that require you install an agent on every single data source to be protected, Asigra Cloud Backup, you simply need to have our data protection application running somewhere on your LAN, and it will reach out and automatically protect all your data sources attached to that LAN according to the rules and policies that you've defined. And of course, the Asigra Cloud Backup is efficient, intelligent, and secure. So all data is deduped, compressed, and encrypted at the source. It's NIST FIPS 140-2 compliant compression of the data, both in transit and at rest, to ensure that your data is always secure. And autonomic healing and restore validation runs in the background, right, checking for data corruption that may happen if a device fails or starts having bad bits, and it tries to automatically correct any errors it encounters or alerts you to the fact that there's a problem, so that there's no nasty surprises when you go to recover your data, right? You're assured that your data will be there if and when you need to recover it. So to summarize, SaaS-based applications are an increasingly popular source of critical corporate data, and that trend will only continue. SaaS data is at risk of loss and needs to be protected like any other data source. Asigra Cloud Backup provides backup and recovery protection for key SaaS sources, specifically MS Office 365, Google Apps, and Salesforce. And Asigra Cloud Backup enables you to comprehensively protect all your critical data sources. I hope you found today's talk interesting. If you would like more information on the subject, I encourage you to go to our website under our under our resource section, we have this product brochure, comprehensive agentless cloud backup and recovery software for the enterprise. Has a lot of information about what I talked about here today and much more. So I encourage you to download this brochure and read it and to learn more about how Asigra Cloud Backup can protect your important data sources. And with that, I turn it back to you, Tricia.
Great. Thanks, William. Thanks again for everybody that has submitted the questions. So we're going to get started. Mike actually had a question. Do you have to purchase an add-on feature to get the cloud-to-cloud backup and recovery feature?
No, the cloud, excuse me, the cloud-to-cloud recovery feature is included at no additional charge.
Excellent. So the next question is coming in from Jane, and she was wondering if you have a free trial available.
Yes, certainly we do have free trials available through our partner network. So if you can contact us here, we will be more than happy to put you in contact with one of our partners that can provide you with a free trial.
Excellent. So Paul is asking, how do they find an Asigra partner in Chicago? So I guess Paul's from Chicago.
Yeah, so same thing there, right? Please contact us, and we will work with you to find the best partner, that matches your particular needs and is close to you.
Excellent. Chris has a question. Can individual users recover from their own email backup to Office 365 or Google Mail, or does it need to be done by an administrator?
Right. So that depends on what your company negotiates and agrees to with your service provider. So it can be that that functionality is made visible and enabled to end users. That said, quite often a lot of our customers they just don't want to even see that at all. So they hide that from their end users and instead have all recoveries and whatnot done through their service provider.
Perfect. Sandra actually has a question. They have an on-premise Microsoft Office Exchange server. So she was wondering, can we back up to this as well?
Yes, absolutely. So again, this falls under the comprehensive protection, protecting all enterprise data sources. So certainly any kind of on-premises data sources, including your on-prem Exchange server, can be protected by Asigra Cloud Backup.
Excellent. And then my final question that we have time for today is: are there limits on the number of user mailboxes that you can back up?
No, there are no limits.
Excellent. So I want to thank everybody again for participating in today's webinar. This webinar has been recorded and will be available on our interface within 24 hours. If you have any questions, by all means, please don't hesitate to contact us. You can reach us at info@asigra.com, or you can contact at the contact numbers provided. Thanks again, everybody, and enjoy your day.